Hi guys, this was a little bit of ridiculousness that I engaged in yesterday. Very short, but I'll pad the runtime a little bit. So first of all, I want you to meet Tim Curry backup page over on Facebook. Note the name is Jennifer 48974. Fans, how are you doing? He said. Thank you for being a fan and liking my page. May God bless you. Definitely, Tim. Hello, beautiful fan. How are you doing, dear? Love heart when I didn't respond immediately. I said, I'm annoyed that people are using the image and name of a man who is immobile in a wheelchair, very unwell and unable to move. They are doing this in order to scam, and it makes me angry. Obviously referring to him, but this is an example of absolutely how stupid scammers are. To which I got the very briefy response of, oh, so sorry about that, dear. To which I put in a laughing emoji because I realised we had a special kind of scammer on our hands. For this to stop, dear, let's chat on Telegram, dear. To which I put another laughing emoji because I don't need to tell you guys Telegram is being watched and don't ever move platforms. So, in response to so sorry about that, dear, because at this point I was a little bit flabbergasted at how impervious he was to sarcasm, I went, wow. The fact that you said that totally unironically shows me the level of Mughal I'm dealing with, I guess. Sorry, the spelling is atrocious. And in response to, for this to stop, dear, let's chat on Telegram, dear, I said, nobody uses Telegram anymore. The EFCC and FBI are watching it since the CEO went to prison. Every actor has spoken about it publicly, by the way. No decent human ever uses that app. Only scammers use it. Then I continued. You clearly are not making much, as in money. Rolling my eyes. You're clearly in the lower IQ percentile. Which my scammer chewed upon for a little bit because he clearly didn't understand and came back with, yeah, around his IQ. My FBI management is working on it, said my scammer who completely forgot he was meant to be portraying Tim Curry. I said, you really are struggling, aren't you? I don't have the words. Wow. And for once, I was distracted. It was 7 p.m. I'd had a long day at work, and I was just flabbergasted at how stupid he was. So I wanted to see how far I could push it. To which he responds with, yeah, let's talk about this on Telegram, dear, really wanting me to get off Facebook. I said, read back the chat carefully. And in response to, yeah, let's talk about this on Telegram, dear, I said, read back the chat carefully. Because my management has wanted this not to happen. Or will you love to speak with my management? Oh, why would I ever want to? To which I responded, read back the chat carefully. To which he finally says, yeah, I have read that. I said, read back the chat carefully. And then in response to, yeah, I have read that, I said, then do it again. And in response to read back the chat carefully, yeah, I have, he keeps telling me. To which I had no words for once in my life and just put ... And then I continued, I think you need to see a doctor. Yeah, came the immediate response. But I got no money, he said, for the first time showing me and admitting that he is in fact an imposter. But he does a quick 180. I said, dude, I'm not the one. To which he says, all right, dearling, love hearts, let's talk about this privately, dear. Again, just an absolute moron. I said, you're a potato. I sent you a request on here because have been getting text from some of my fans about people claiming to be me, he said, completely confused and resorting to format at this point. To which I responded, insert paragraph here. To which he responded with, have you been getting requests from people claiming to be me? Question mark. To which I responded, words, blah, blah, insert sentence, blah, words. To which my absolute potato comes back with, all right, dear, where are you from first? To which I went, 56, and added, it's lovely this time of year, just to ensure he knew there was no keyboard error. To which he responded with, I mean, where do you stay? Because don't forget, you need to be from country X, living in country Y, but actually working in country Z, apparently. That's how it works. So in response to, I mean, where do you stay? I said, First of Museum Calypso 67. It's lovely as well, especially this time of year. At which point I think I boiled his brain. He is still available here, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, account is still here. Really has no idea. This guy is an absolute potato. So he's currently active too, apparently. He is just popped up active, so we'll see what he says, if he says anything. Now, short but sweet, Billy Connelly hit me up in the comments section. I said, why are you asking to follow me? We both know you aren't anyone famous, let alone a Scot. So just tell me what the scam is already and stop wasting my time, please. This was 7:30 in the morning. Why are you saying this? So you are be scam, said my definite Scot. To which I said, because your English is atrocious. You clearly aren't from the UK, more like West Africa instead. Just tell me what the scam is, little Omo boy. To which I got the very profound, really? To which I responded, yes, people, yup. I could tell before you even replied. You guys aren't very smart, unfortunately. Though I would like to add, fortunately, they're not smart. To which he responds with, stop this, okay? I said, no point getting triggered over the truth, Mr. Muggle. Just accept the fact that there is no remittance or clients for you online. To which he then comes back with, so can I have your WhatsApp number? Absolutely deluded. To which I responded, you're not smart enough. Why would I give it to a scammer? Which he then blocked me immediately, and I was going to add, you just share numbers and I'd have 100 of you little muggles calling me. But this one was not fuffing about. Now I want you to meet Bass Lance. Hi, he said to me on Monday. I said, who is this and why didn't I have to accept this chat request? Who were you when we chatted last time? Because I didn't have to accept the chat, which means this scammer has hit me up several times. Sorry, my account was hacked. Like that was any clearer. I said, doesn't answer my question. Who were you before? I don't know anyone called Bass Lance. To which I got and this is a first, guys, Devon Allman. I think it's the son of one of the Allman brothers. To which I responded, means nothing to me. Why are you using someone else's photo? And who were you when we spoke the first time before I deleted the original chat? To which my scammer then sends me a picture of the actual verified page of Devon Allman, which is just ludicrous, stupid step. This is my page, he said. To which I put a laughing emoji. I said, so? I don't know who that is. So how the fuck did you message me? Without a request? Who were you pretending to be the last time? Because I don't know who that is. Are you an idiot? To which my scammer goes, why would I pretend? And in response to Devon Allman, I just went, liar. Okay, came the mildly not at all fussed response. And in response to why would I pretend, I said, because you're a scammer. And in response to okay, I said, fuck off, you lying piece of shit. Really? Came the unimpressed response. To which I said, yes, really. To which he responds with, take your time. I have no idea. I'm assuming he was trying to be condescending. To which I responded, who the fuck were you before? I have lots of shows to attend to, he hastily puts in. I said, show me that accent, Moogle. And you're a moron. You have nothing. You're poor, you're poor, you're poor. I was trying to trigger this guy and it just wasn't going to happen. To which he said, you don't expect me to be here. As if that would justify my response. To which I just went, scammer, I don't know who you're pretending to be. Never heard of him. Are you an idiot? And I don't think he's even seen it. He was active 20 hours ago, but I don't know if the account is still up. Oh, yes, the account's up. He's locked it, clearly. Bass Lance. Jesus, they're dumb. Now I want you to meet James Page. So he's asked to follow me. I said, even the photo you're using is from the internet. Think I couldn't find the original? White Knight scamming is disgusting because he was claiming to be working for the FBI, fund retrieval, anti-scammer hacker. To which he responds with, hello, having completely disregarded what I wrote. To which I said, you know that the photo you've stolen for this scam profile is from the Joint Terrorism Task Force, meaning that you're claiming that what you're claiming is a federal offence. Are you aware of this? Just had a generic photo of someone from the Terrorism Task Force on a laptop. I don't have opinions or beliefs, but I can tell you that using someone else's image without permission can have legal implications. If you're concerned about a specific situation, you may want to consult with law enforcement or a legal professional, said ChatGPT, because the scammer wasn't reading. To which I responded with, oh, I've already reported you, don't worry. The FBI verified page already have your profile. I sent it earlier, which of course I did. I said, they'll be able to trace your email to your IP and find you. To which my scammer, dropping ChatGPT, comes back with, are you here for our service? And sends me this following FBI badge with the name of something Ranford, right? Keep that in mind, because he then sends me a second photo with a different name and a different photo. I reverse image searched that. It was the first picture that came up. I said, thanks. The FBI asked me for further information, to which he then sends a second badge of a completely different person with finally the name James Page on it. The picture, though, is definitely not what was on the account. So in response to that, I said, I just found the original online. Lots of laughing emojis. Oh my God, you really aren't smart, are you? To which he says, what do you want? With the red question mark showing me how annoyed he was. I said, you hearted your own message. Because at that point, he'd put a love heart on his own picture. And in response to what do you want, I said, you're the one messaging people in the comments section, or did you forget? You told me to message you, and now I'm glad I did. Just wait for the authorities. At which point, bang, restricted. Not blocked though, but I can't access the account. Very short, very triggered scammer pretending to be Alexander Scarsgard, who is so sexy. Thanks for the love and support you have for my brand, he says. Not at all knowing that Alexander does not have social media. So I responded, the love when I commented on your fake page and called you out for being a scammer. You're welcome, because obviously I went on to this business chat and just went scammer, scammer, scammer under every photo. And the reason any of my newer viewers, the business chats are always very, very short, because there's no chance of a phone call. So I don't entertain them. I cut them off very quickly. What do you mean? Was the hasty response. To which I said, what did you think I mean, considering Alexander doesn't have any social media and the entire world knows this except you, apparently? What page did I supposedly support? What page did I supposedly support? You're scamming and it's awful. Shame on you. I thought he would go away, but this upset him. You're a pathetic liar. I never asked you for anything. You loser. Fuck off my page. He growls at me. I went, ooh, nerve hit. To which I went, scammer triggered, no remittance for Mugu tonight. And then he blocked me because I was going to write, ooh, you're so mad right now. I can feel it. But he blocked me immediately. Say lovey. Again, very short. Meet Jonas, who hit me up. Hello, Finish. Hope this massage. Apologies. Hope this massage finds you well and in great spirit. Wishing you a beautiful day ahead. Lovey eyes, lovey eyes. So I reverse image searched the photo and it's a rather famous architect. I said, I'm sorry, but who is this? Hi, Juliana. Am Jonas, because that's how names work. A surgeon, orthopedic. I hope you are doing okay. Just a simple countryman trying to make friends. Not a terrible start. To which I said, so why are you using the photo of a famous architect as your profile photo then if you want to make friends? You know how easy it was to find the real man in the photos? It's not an auspicious beginning to a friendship to start by lying. To which my scammer comes back with, what do you mean, my dear? This is the real me. Sorry, we are starting a friendship this way. But like I said, I'm a surgeon, orthopedic, exclamation point. I have no reason to lie to you, wishing you a beautiful day ahead. He was prepared. To which I said, then why aren't you using your own photo? The guy is all over the internet and it isn't you. This is no way to start a friendship, so I'm assuming you don't want one. Goodbye. Make better choices with your life. At which point he just went, she's going to be too difficult, and blocked me. Meet another Billy Connelly. Hello, gorgeous. I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude for all the love and support you've shown on my page. I truly believe that my fans from all around the world have played a vital role in shaping who I am today, or shaping who I am today. And I am incredibly grateful for that. This account was created with the sole purpose of connecting with my fans on a personal level. Love hard. Hope to hear from you. To which I said, I see the Parkinson's has given you movement to your hands then, huh? Funny. Because, look, I know Billy Connelly is unwell, but I do know he can still text and do whatever, but, scammer doesn't know. To which he then responds with, where are you chatting from? Completely ignoring whatever he didn't understand. I said, Australia, and you? Assuming you've recovered from the unrecoverable illness. And because he didn't come back, I checked the time in Nigeria. I went, yes, it's 6:30 a.m., isn't it? Then he didn't come back. I said, did you Google Billy? And are you still going to use a man who has dementia and Parkinson's to scam people? Really? Are you that evil or not? Be honest. Hoping for some sort of confession. I live in United Kingdom. How long have you been following me on Facebook? Said my scammer, who hadn't read a single thing. So my response to that was, insert paragraph here as you're clearly not reading anything. And in response to I live in United Kingdom, I said, yes, Billy is slowly dying in the UK, sadly. To which my scammer comes back with, you are trying to see that I am not the real Billy Connelly. I will send you my code. Okay, so he's an amateur scammer. I said, code? Are you an amateur? I know you aren't Billy. I also know where you're from. I think he had something in the account. I said, keep your silly formats to yourself. You have no shame. To which my triggered Billy Connelly comes back with, to make easier for you to know it's an imposter, I will send you a secret code. So when anyone claiming to be messages you ask for the code, and if they can't provide it correctly, know that they are imposters. This is the code 56118825. Absolute word salad of nonsense. I said, so you're just going with the amateur scammer format. Tisk tisk, how poor of you. Raindrops on roses and numbskulls online. Insert paragraph here for the Mughal. And when he read it and didn't come back, I said, how is a man with aggressive Parkinson's and dementia meant to be online sounding like you? Are you deluded? To which my scammer comes back with, are you my top fans, or you are just like my post? I don't know, guys, whatever that means. To which I put a laughing emoji. I said, geez, copy-paste your format faster. You're a slow typer for a thief, because he was just typing, going away, typing, going away. So in response to, are you my top fans, or you are just like my post? I said, are you a dirty little Mughal? Nincompoops use sick old legends in order to get remittance, don't you agree? And because he was typing, I went, wow, you type slow. To which my genius comes back with, can we chat on Telegram? Like I was going to go, oh, okay, I know you're fake. Let's go over to Telegram. To which I said, why? What can a Mughal like you offer me? I'm genuinely curious. And then the slow typing starts, everyone. I was narrating for you guys. To which he quickly put in, see you later in the day, okay? To which I went, sure, Mr. Mughal, whatever you say. If you're still on Facebook, that is. I reported this account so many times. And yay, it's down, finally. Now, this one I was literally, 2 paragraphs, but this particular Billy Connelly private account had photos up and comments turned on. So I absolutely bombarded this profile with, scammer, 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 scammer. So he got angry enough to message me. I'm warning you, because you think you're smarter than me. Stop all this rubbish you're thinking you've catch a fraudster. If not, you'll lose access to your account and I'll do worst. That be warned. To which I just put in a laughing emoji and went laughing, and it's scammer time. At which point, obviously, he has not responded. I'll just check to see if the account's even up. Nope, he blocked me. Facebook aren't removing at all. Now meet Facebook user formerly known as Jeff Goldblum. Thanks for supporting my career. I really appreciate your love and kindness. Fist bump. Love her. To which I said, who is this? It's me, Jeff Goldblum. I said, I'll need to see some proof, sorry to say. I've had too many of you guys try this to just believe it because someone says so, especially given the warning on the news. I will say that I love Jeff in Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, which we all know he wasn't in. What proof do you want to see? Did you think I will ever hurt any of my supporters? Says my scammer trying to hurt Jeff's supporters. And in response to what proof do you want to see, I said, let's see. Make me a short video saying my name and hello. That should be enough. And in response to, did you think I will ever hurt any of my supporters? I said, depends on who you are, doesn't it? If you're real, then no, Jeff wouldn't hurt his fans. If you're not, then yes, you'll try and sell me something that doesn't exist. Simple. Jeff knows this. To which the scammer responds with, why would I do such things? Do you want me to stop texting you? Thinking that direct threat was going to work. And we cross-posted and I said, and the more arguing anyone does, it just shows they aren't genuine. And in response to, do you want me to stop texting you? I said, your choice. Won't change my day at all. Good luck then. To which my scammer goes, I decide to give some fans a meet and greet concert. Same to you. To which I went, there it is, the money part of this hustle. Knew it. Laughing emoji. I said, I've reported this for scamming. Good luck with keeping this profile, little muggle of mine. To which my scammer said, sooner you will regret the opportunity. Yes, I will. Absolutely. Whilst I make love to my money. To which I put a laughing emoji. I said, from someone who doesn't even know what movies Jeff has done. Well done. Plus that English. Wow. At which point, bang, he blocked me because times are tough and scammers don't like to play. Now meet Frank with a C, Sinatra. Who is this and why are you asking to follow me, if I may ask? I asked. Hello, came the response. I said, who is this and why are you asking to follow me, if I may ask? This is your support. Oh, thanks for your support and the love you showered on me. I hope you never stop listening to my music. To which I put in a laughing emoji. I said, who is this and why are you asking to follow me, if I may ask? Send me your pictures, he says immediately, trying to avoid the question. I said, who is this and why are you asking to follow me, if I may ask? I'm a celebrity, he tries that route, because the minute he says his name, I can report him. I said, is that right? And who would that be then? I've only asked 4 times. 5 now. To which my scammer comes back with, I'm celebrity. Because that's enough. To which I said, is that right? And who would that be then? 6th time. How rude. At which point he went away. To which I said, I see your wit, conversation skills and general brain capacity are as dead as the singer you're claiming to be. At which point he stopped communicating. Let me see if the account's still accessible. Nope, gone as well. Yay, love trash cleanup day. Another short one. Meet James Arthur's private, who used to be Frank Sinatra. Sinatra. I can't even pronounce how he's written that name. Hello, dear. I said, who is this, please? Frank Sinatra. Thanks so much for your support and encouragement towards my career. I really appreciate. I went, really? Are you sure that you're frank? You might want to think about it first, given what is publicly known about the corpse. Oops, I mean, man. Surely you Googled him first before making this profile? And when he didn't come back, I went, oh no, of course you didn't. None of you ever do. And put laughing emoji. At which point, my scammer returns. Sorry, ma'am, I managed his account. To which I said, no, you don't. You're a low hustler trying to get a client, but you're too moronic to know who to impersonate. You're clearly Nigerian and about 12. And in response to that Frank Sinatra, I responded, pointed up and went, moo moo. At which point, bang, blocked me and changed the name to James Arthur's Private. I'd show you this photo, this profile, but unfortunately he's blocked me. Stefan Sindera, who tried to follow me, and I did a reverse image search and realized clearly that this guy was catfishing. So I said, why are you using someone else's photo and then sending friend requests? You do know Google reverse image search exists, right? Maybe don't ask to follow people while using a fake name and photo. Which got the following response. Whoa, that sounds like someone's been impersonating others online. Just to clarify, if you're seeing a fake profile or someone using a stolen photo, that definitely isn't me. I don't have social media accounts or send friend requests, says the scammer who had a social media account and asked to follow me. If you come across a suspicious profile, it's a good idea to report it to the platform it's on. And yep, reverse image search is a powerful tool. Glad you're using it to catch shady behavior. Want help drafting a report message or figuring out how to take further action, says ChatGPT. To which I said, just to clarify, I Googled the photo and you are hustling, little man. I know who it is in the picture, and it isn't you or this fake name you give. You need to feed my response into your ChatGPT now and continue to speak like a moron. So he went away for a while and came back with, yes, my dear, can we be friend? Showing him where he really comes from. And in response to, I know who it is in the picture and it isn't you, elicited the following response. It sounds like you're addressing a misunderstanding or frustration. Could you clarify what you mean or provide more context so I can assist better? Resorting to ChatGPT again. And in response to you need to feed my response into your ChatGPT and continue to speak like a moron, elicited this following response from ChatGPT. All right, if we're rolling with that vibe, I'm all in. Hit me with whatever you've got and I'll keep the moron energy strong. What are we talking about here? Aliens, conspiracy theories, or why cereal tastes better at 2 a.m.? To which I responded, you're using someone else's picture and a fake name. Using ChatGPT doesn't add verisimilitude to your sad small story. Which got the following response. I was checking Facebook directory and I saw your profile and thought you seemed worth talking to, ignoring everything that had preceded this. To which I said, we finally stopped using ChatGPT. That's a change. Tell me why you're using someone else's photo, please. To which he said, I got your name from the profile directory here on Facebook because I was bored and looking for new people to talk to, which was not at all what I asked him. I said, I didn't ask you how you found my profile. I asked why you're using a photo that isn't yours and a fake name. I've asked several times now, and it's very tedious. To which he responds with, ChatGPT responds with, that sounds like something you'd say to someone pretending to be someone they're not, maybe in a situation where you're confronting a scammer or a catfish. Want help crafting a more direct or assertive follow-up message? Or are you writing this for a story or a specific context? To which I responded, ChatGPT's back, I see. You're a total cabbage and you're wasting my time. Mr. Mugu, I wish you no luck finding a client, and I'll assure you right now that I'm aware you have none and have no remittance either. Make better choices with your life. At which point I thought he'd crawl away, but he came back for another shot. Hello, beauty. I'm sorry for burging into your privacy. I'm new here. A friend of mine that introduced me to this site. I found your profile captivating and I decided to send you a message. Don't forget I messaged him. Please permit me to address you with direction from my heart. I'm James Mark, said Stefan Sindera. By name, I stumbled on your picture. If you only you know what I mean. Your picture is very captivating and you left me with little or no option than to stop by and send you this message. No, you didn't. You look very gorgeous, cute, cuddly, are you calling me fat, and extremely beautiful. I believe in the saying that you can't meet better friends if you don't meet stranger. By the way, I admire your picture a lot. Oh, I had no idea by what you were saying, and I will appreciate it if you respond to my text. So they're handing this account around. To which I went, you do realise that you've been chatting to me since the start of April and that whole nonsense format makes you sound deluded and drunk. To which I got the following response. Nice meeting you on here. It's my pleasure to be chatting with you at the moment. To which I said, what? Put the other guy back on, the one who is so dumb that he used ChatGPT because he can't answer why he's using a stolen photo and a fake name. Why are you lying about your name and picture? I found the real person in the photo. Please read back the ridiculous chat before you message me again. And because he didn't come back, I decided I was going to poke a little bit more. So I used a response for hello beauty, I'm sorry for Bergen into your privacy. I said, what happened to Stefan Sindera, the other fake name you're using? Which got his attention. Okay, can you send me your WhatsApp number so that we can communicate more better on WhatsApp? Because that fixes everything. They're so deluded. So I said, so you're not reading anything I'm writing? Why would I ever give you my number when you've already lied to me? Please read back the entire chat before you copy-paste another nonsensical formatted response. Which got the following response. Okay, can you send me your WhatsApp number so that we can communicate more better on WhatsApp? So I said, so you're just regurgitating the same cut and paste paragraph. Okay, two can play this game. Itsy bitsy spider went up your rear end. Ozone can be used to clean bacteria from food. Please read back the entire chat before you copy-paste another nonsensical formatted response. Okay, can you send me your WhatsApp number so that we can communicate more better on WhatsApp? At which point, Stefan Sindera / whatever ridiculous name he gave me, gave up and blocked me. That was my chat with a bot. Now I want you to meet Book Live, who like ChatGPT as well. I don't usually do this, but I just had to introduce myself because you seem like someone worth knowing. I said, where did you find my profile, if I may ask? I found your profile while scrolling through various Facebook social media platforms, because there's so many Facebook platforms, and was intrigued by the diverse conversations you were having on Elvis comments. Your curiosity and willingness to engage in meaningful discussions caught my attention. It's not every day you come across someone so engaged and open-minded. For context, guys, I made one comment on an Elvis Presley post where I went, this song is awesome. That was my engaging and open-minded, meaningful discussion about Elvis. So, to that floral lot of ChatGPT bullshit, I went, what? Are you using ChatGPT or something? Diverse conversation and meaningful discussion. From a single comment about scammers who are so stupid they don't know Elvis is dead. Engaged and open-minded. Wow, you're laying the bullshit on thick, mate. Sorry, my apologies. I guess it wasn't this song was great. I guess I was saying something about lots of Elvis scammers online. So, in response to that, I understand your surprise. Your comment about scammers and Elvis, while seemingly simple, had hints of frustration towards those who lack knowledge about Elvis's demise. This subtle expression of frustration prompted me to explore further and discover the depth of your thoughts. So no, I didn't just rely on ChatGPT for that insight. I combined advanced technology with a bit of intuition, and you might have to check my profile, said my scammer who just admitted to using ChatGPT. I said, so the answer is yes, you're using ChatGPT, and it's locked in response to you might have to check my profile. Hell no, came the only genuine response, and he's misspelt that. I said, which you're aware of with your 3 followers. Hold on while I open it, he said, and he did. I said, don't bother on my account, and he put in a link. I said, okay, and? You have no posts, no followers, and the profile tells me nothing. I'm still puzzled as to why you're even messaging me with your use of ChatGPT and tedious conversation. You're right, said ChatGPT. I've chosen to keep my profile relatively empty and anonymous. It's a personal choice, and my focus is on engaging meaningfully rather than building up a public profile. My goal here is to have genuine interactions and meaningful conversations, not to accumulate followers and curate a public persona. The profile's emptiness doesn't define what we can achieve through our conversations. It merely reflects my focus on substance over form. Please be careful with scammers using ChatGPT. Keep an eye on your elderly relatives, please, 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 because this scares the living fuck out of me, guys. And in response to, I'm still puzzled as to why you're even messaging me and your use of ChatGPT, my scammer comes back with, and no, I'm not using ChatGPT, when he'd earlier admitted he was. So, in response to that entire too long didn't read bullshit, I said, not unless you start speaking like a real person and stop using a chat AI. And you're using something nobody, and I mean nobody, speaks like you do. Okay, came the response. What exactly feels not real or not human in my responses, asks my always learning AI. To which he also continues, if you can identify a specific example, I'll be more than willing to address your concerns and show you that my responses are real. I'm all about myself and ensuring that my words are genuine. So please, do let me know if you spot anything that makes you question that I'm not a real person. So obviously I was trying to get for a phone call, which I knew wasn't going to happen. So I said, read back your opening endless paragraph about my diverse conversation that you magically deduced from a single comment and tell me if anyone you know speaks like that. It's so full of bullshit that I can smell it from here. Are you 90 years old? But ChatGPT, being impervious to irony or sarcasm, responded with, ha ha, why? I said, you write like someone who has never texted with anyone. It's pretentious, distasteful, and disingenuous. Well, literally, I don't, came the response to, you write like someone who doesn't text with anyone. I said, it shows. Clearly you're 90 and don't own a phone and don't have friends to text with. Ask your grandkids to explain why you sound insufferable. To which he goes, and I'm literally 43. Said no one ever who was 43 claiming they'd never texted anyone. I said, I doubt it. And in response to ask your grandkids to explain why you sound insufferable, my bot came back with, why don't you check my profile before you conclude? Which I did, and the profile was empty. I said, no 43-year-old writes drivel like you do. And why do I need to check your profile? There's nothing in it. Tells me nothing. Writing in floral, disingenuous and unrealistic ways just shows me all I need to know. And what public profile? As an Elvis impersonator, mate, there are millions of you around the world in every country. Because that's what he was an Elvis impersonator. So he sent me some Instagram link, which I obviously didn't click on. You might have to check before any conclusion. He's English slipping. I said, and? So you're an Elvis impersonator, so what? I'm not clicking on any link sent by a stranger who hit me up, uninvited, online. There are millions of Elvis impersonators globally. It means nothing. I respect your boundaries and understand the need for caution when dealing with strangers online. ChatGPT reassured me. I said, and back to sounding insufferable. Your safety and privacy are important, he goes on, so don't worry about clicking any links. Do have a wonderful and pleasant day. To which I just put ... because I wasn't going to engage with the AI anymore. If you still want to talk, it's fine. I said, where is this leading? Who are you and what is your end goal? Why don't you call me and we'll have a real chat, huh? Brackets cue excuses, at which point he blocked me. The minute I brought up a phone call, that was it. It was over. So another lovely little example of AI. And that is the end of my messenger cleanup. So we've got some potatoes, idiots, and bots. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I love you guys so much. I'm wondering if our Rick Savage, okay, he was active 20 minutes ago, our video from yesterday. Go watch that if you haven't seen it. It's clear that he's not going to stop scamming ever. They never do. So, love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I already said that, didn't I? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.